Hey David, it's Wayne D here. I don't remember playing with you, but if I did, I hope we had a good time and I didn't do anything untoward when I hit a bad shot. But anyway, all right. So let's take a look and to see what we got. You mentioned in your email that you had battled a lifting problem, and as I looked at your swing, that was going to be the main focus of what we're going to talk about here. You can only do so much. I'll give you a couple things to work on. We'll go over the whole swing, but that lifting problem leads to a sequence issue, and that's the big thing. So we got to work on that. So let's take a look. So, conventional instruction would tell you that if you retain your posture, that you're doing fine. So, as you can see here, your butt's against the line, your head's against the line. So, no obvious lifting. You can see the takeaway is pretty close to plane. The hands come up, away from the line a little bit. And at left arm parallel, your elbow is not quite out to your side, but certainly no disaster yet. Now, when you watch from the front, you'll see a tiny little left lean first off with the head. Again, this is a very commonplace thing. If you look at your arms, you've got the triangle going, and if you've watched some of my videos, I'm a fan of the home plate look, in which the upper arms are straight down because the elbows are unlocked or bent a little bit, creating a little more space and certainly relaxing the arms there. My hypothesis on this is that the conventional instruction to hold the club loosely makes people want to tighten up their arms. I'm a fan of a firm grip in the fingers and hands, and that really does not affect the wrists and the arms. So that actually, the feeling of having control of the club in the hands will allow you to break the elbows and let the arms bend and relax a little bit. And that's very helpful in trying to get the trunk to move freely in the backswing. So anyway, that's something to do maybe at address, is to let those arms buckle a little bit. Now you do get pretty good width going back, but again, your right arm, because it's tight into your body, the upper arm doesn't really separate very much here under the armpit. And now as you get to left arm parallel, you're moving back to the right, so you're right loading a little bit after that little forward lean. Part of which is caused by your arms being so tight to your body there. So the wrist cock at this point, if we draw the line here, is about 25 degrees short of 90. So that's really usually not a problem if you get the thing to cock as it goes up, and you certainly do that. But here's the big issue right here. So again, as you watch my videos, you'll note that what I like is to work pressure down into the right heel pretty much at the very beginning of the backswing. So as soon as you get the thing started with the upper trunk, the club's not going to move more than a few inches, and you're going to start feeling some pressure down into that right foot. Now, I don't like to subtract pressure or weight from the left, I just like to add it to the right. When you right load and allow the head to go to the right, you will probably feel that the left will lighten up a hair, but I would try not to overdo the subtraction of weight from the left and putting it on the right. I would just like you to press down in the right and pretty much keep the left about the same feeling. If the heel comes up, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that you are lifting. So when you look at your swing, you'll see it right about here. What you need to be doing is finding the ground and pressing down even more under your foot so that you could get your hips started. So everything that happens after this point in your swing, right about here, everything that happens after this is causing problems. So watch the head. So the head lifts up, the upper body overturns, the club crosses. Now you should be interrupting your swing by now. So think about that. The club is pretty much planed right about now. If you'd have been if you'd have hit the ground under your feet and pushed 45 left, your head would have lowered. The handle would go out on the high line, and the shaft would tip back and shallow, and you could get the right arm to come into your side. But watch what happens. So you're going to lift up, and that's not an insignificant, I mean, that's a big lift right at the end of the backswing, and that's going to cause major issues. So you get an over twist of the upper body here. So, it's a little simplistic, but for you to think of a knockdown shot as far as the backswing goes, or a three-quarter shot, what that would mean is right about left arm parallel, you're going to have to tell yourself that it's time to move your hips the other way. You're going to have to get your hips to drive to the left. So you need some forward slide. Remember, it's like the slide turn that Trevino talked about, pushing from the inside of the right foot with the pressure in the heel toward the left heel and mashing that left heel down and sliding those hips and opening your hips up at the same time. Now that would happen about in this area. And even if you didn't lower in the backswing, if you lowered now and interrupted that club, you could get the club to lean back in your hands and the swing would be fine. However, instead of that, you make an extra amount of shoulder turn, your head lifts up, and since the legs aren't really in contact with the ground, what you'll see here is you'll see a momentary lengthening of the muscles in the abdominal area around the waist as you lift up. And now watch the handle. So the handle now just went from where it was at the top across this way. Now, I like the thing to come out at the ball, even above it sometimes, and yours has gone behind your feet. Now this is combined with this lifting move, this is pretty much guaranteed to get you stuck. And if we watch this thing come down, this is a classic, what you would call a stuck position, in that your right arm is now behind your side and the shaft is pointing to the right with the club head about almost a foot behind your hands here. So the approach is from extremely shallow. You can see where the club head is and how it crosses the shaft plane line way up there. And then in order to get the thing not to swing way out to the right, you probably know a little bit, you know what you would like to do here. So as you try to release around to the left, you have to flip your hands. So you can see on the approach how your right arm wasn't really able to dig into your rib cage there. So the hands are back a little bit. Your head has drifted from being to the right a fair amount and way up. Now it's drifted forward a little bit of the box. Your nose is in front of the ball. And as you hit it, you're going to get a little shallow approach and a little flippy through the ball, as you can see. Now, you get a nice lateral drive, so that saves you a bit, so you can, take a divot, hit down on it a little bit, and you're really trying to hit through it. You can see I like the way the belt buckle drives, sustains. But the damage was done in the transition, so you really can't do a whole lot with that transition and the direction of the shaft as it crosses, and then the grip goes behind you. So at that point in the swing, you would like the club to be pointing over here somewhere, and yet it's super steep. So remember, in the progression of the swing, if the club is steep at the beginning of the forward swing, it's going to have to shallow, and then when it starts to shallow late, it's a timing error, and when it shallows late, it's going to keep shallowing and fall behind you. Remember, the idea would be from here to interrupt the swing with a drive to the left, get the grip to come out to the ball, and you're going to take this shaft and actually try to shift it over here, after which you could start to steepen it, so each progressive line of the shaft would be a little more this way. So you've seen my Hogan's Secret video and the right arm video, and that's what you want to do. But so how do we fix this up? So again, like I was saying, your goal, two things really are big here. One is trying to find the ground under your feet in the backswing. So I would suggest that you try to add flex, mash your weight into that right heel, move your butt back a little bit, see if you can feel your head just maybe lower a hair, and you've got to hit short shots. So if you were hitting a punch shot, what you're going to shoot for is you're going to shoot for a little more wrist cock in this area right in here, and right about now you can see the left arm hasn't reached parallel to the ground yet. Right about now you're going to start to drive your legs, and you're going to catch the backswing so that it doesn't get past here. The club is going to be here, and as you go forward you're going to try to let the club kick back more. So that's the punch shot. So if I go through these shortly here, let me get over to where I hit these shots for you. So here's a punch. Now that's with a stick in the way. Here's one without, I think. That's a preset punch, so that's another drill you can do. There we go. So right in this area, with those hips moving, catch the club, drag it in, lean your hands on it. And then 3/4 feel, take the club back, and when it gets to the punch area, start your legs forward, let it go back to here. And I wouldn't be surprised if you hit the ball so much better doing that you would just feel comfortable saying every shot with an iron would be 3/4, because look how good that looks right there. If you could get started down, and if this was the end of the backswing and that angle increased a little bit as you came forward, the thing would be awesome. So that's something that you wanna try to do. We got to get rid of that. But in order to get started forward, you gotta feel the ground, because that's where it comes from. You gotta push off. So everything needs to feel shorter, a little more cocked, shorter, and into the ground more. And then you can use that good lateral movement, get your arms back in front of you. Same thing from behind. Note the head. Get it to lower a little bit. So you can see just a little bit of lowering. Now I'm not the world's greatest at this, but you'll see I did it a little bit. And you can also see that in transition here, the hands come out, shaft shallows. But you got to interrupt it to do that. Can't lift up. Alright. Alright, so take a look at this. Work on that a little bit. If, I'm not too far from you, so come on by Woodmont and we'll work on it some there too. Alright?